All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a true giant of English literature, Book One of John Milton's Paradise Lost. We're going to use Milton's own incredible language to explore the origin story of, well, maybe the most charismatic and compelling anti-hero ever written, Satan.
The whole poem kicks off with these legendary lines. Right from the get-go, Milton is not just telling a simple story. He's setting a massive cosmic stage. He's going after the biggest questions you can imagine: sin, death, and why there's suffering in the world. This is the bedrock for everything that's about to happen.
So before we even meet the main character, Milton himself steps in. He calls on a heavenly muse, kind of like the ancient Greek poets did, and he just lays out his incredibly ambitious goal for this whole epic.
And this is absolutely crucial to understanding the book. Paradise Lost is so much more than a retelling of the Adam and Eve story. Milton is basically trying to write a massive theological argument. He's setting out to explain and defend God's grand design, to make sense of why things had to happen the way they did.
Okay, so once that mission statement is out of the way, the camera, so to speak, immediately zooms away from heaven and plunges straight down into hell. And we meet our main character, not at his height of power, but right after his absolutely catastrophic defeat.
So what was his big crime? Well, Satan, who used to be one of the highest-ranking archangels, was completely driven by pride and ambition. He just could not stand the idea of being second to anyone. So he talked a full third of heaven's angels into joining him in an all-out war to try and overthrow God.
And, well, it did not go well for them. To put it mildly, the rebellion was totally crushed, and the punishment was immediate and absolute. He and his entire army were violently thrown out of heaven, sent plummeting down into the abyss.
And you have to get this. This wasn't like a quick fall. Milton tells us it took 9 days. Can you even imagine that? 9 entire days and nights just tumbling through chaos before finally crash landing in their new prison. After they land, they're just stunned, completely out of it. See, they're immortal, so they can't actually die, but they are totally and utterly defeated. They're just floating there, dazed, in this massive lake of fire, too shocked to even figure out what just happened.
And the contrast Milton paints here is just incredible. He gives us this really stark picture of what they lost versus their new reality. It's not just a change of scenery. It's a complete flip of everything they've ever known, from these happy realms of light to a place of pure sorrow and a terrifying, strange kind of darkness.
This idea of darkness visible is just genius. It perfectly captures the psychological horror of hell. It's not pitch black. There are flames, but these flames give off an anti-light, a glow that only exists to show you more suffering. It's a place defined by one thing: the total absence of hope.
But it's from this state of total defeat, from rock bottom, that Satan starts to stir. And instead of just giving in to despair, he creates a new weapon, the one thing God couldn't take from him, his own mind.
These are his very first words after the fall, spoken to his second in command, Beelzebub. He's basically saying, so what if we lost the battle? It's not over. He immediately pivots and declares that their will, their hatred, their absolute refusal to ever surrender, that is what they still have. That's their new power.
And this, right here, is the absolute core of his new philosophy. He's arguing that where you are physically doesn't matter. It's your state of mind that creates your reality. He can build his own world, his own heaven, right here in hell, just by the power of his will. It's this radical declaration of independence from God's authority.
And here we have it. This is probably the most famous line in the entire poem, the one that defines his character. He's saying he would rather be in charge in a place of total agony than be a servant in paradise. For Satan, freedom, even if it's freedom in damnation, is worth more than anything. So he lays out the new game plan. It's a complete inversion of everything heaven stands for. Their new purpose isn't to do good, but to actively create evil, to take everything God makes and twist it, and to wage an endless war either through open fighting or, through sneaky tricks and deceit.
Now, with his philosophy set, Satan doesn't just sit around and talk. He acts. And his first big move is to rally his broken army and literally build a new kingdom right out of the ruins of their defeat. He pulls himself out of that lake of fire, makes his way to the shore, and just unleashes this thunderous call to action. It's this incredible speech that snaps his legions out of their defeated days. He's telling them, look, if we do nothing, we're accepting this fallen state forever.
And you know what? They rise. They actually do it. And the way Milton describes this moment is fascinating. He uses this beautiful, almost sad comparison. He says they're as thick as autumnal leaves. In just that one little phrase, you get a sense of their unbelievable numbers, but also their dead, withered state.
And he just keeps going. To really give you a sense of the scale and power of this army, he compares them to the greatest and most terrifying forces from all of history and myth. This isn't just some random mob. This is a legendary army, a force that was once powerful enough to challenge heaven itself.
Then, with his terrifying speed and efficiency, they build their new capital city. It's like a dark mockery of God's creation. They don't create from nothing. Instead, they mine the raw materials of hell and, with amazing skill, they raise this massive palace almost instantly.
And he gives it a name, Pandemonium. It literally means all demons. This grand golden temple is going to be their parliament, their central command for this new war effort.
But to fit inside this new hall, the millions of demons do something, well, kind of weird. They perform this strange miracle and shrink themselves down to the size of fairies or elves. Book I actually ends with this incredible image of these countless tiny demons swarming into their huge palace to hold their very first debate, how to strike back at God.
And this all brings us to the central question Milton leaves us with. I mean, yeah, Satan is the source of all evil, but he's also charismatic, he's defiant, he's courageous in his own way, and he's kind of tragic. From his own point of view, he's a freedom fighter. So is he just a monster we're supposed to hate? Or is he a complex, compelling character whose ambition we can almost understand? That's the debate that has kept Paradise Lost so powerful for centuries.